All right, the JBs reunited. Justin
What's up?
Bourne, JD Bunkis. Good to see you, Pally. Good to see you.
You too.
I thought tonight was going to be a nightmare for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Shots started, I want to say 15-5 in the first period.
Yeah,
Think
and
the
felt
game
more
started.
lopsided.
I think the game started 8-0 for the Devils. I had texted you about little potential wagering tonight and went, this feels like the Leafs are going to come out here and be extremely flat. They were, but Justin Bourne, caller of things, said, this feels like one of these games that they deserve to lose, but find a way to win. You kind of nailed it, friend, because that was basically it tonight from the Leafs. I cannot believe they pulled that one out. Gutsy win for them.
Yeah, you love to see this. You're not going to outplay and be the better team every night, and particularly come playoffs, you got to find a way to win some greasy ones. And yeah, they weren't the better team tonight. I don't think they had the bulk of the opportunities, but
No.
two all-star players make all-star plays. Matthews, Barry's actually the whole Matthews goal was elite. The Marner goal beyond elite. So yeah, they get their big plays. That is a gutsy win.
We'll get to the goals. We'll give our guy Sis some time to pull that final Matthews highlight. I want to start with Samsonov though, because this game, none of this happens without you, right? Like he's the guy at the Oscar speech when they do, hey, we want to thank God. First, you have to thank Ilya Samsonov tonight because he was brilliant in the first period. These are just highlights from the first that we are going to play for you right now. And I felt sick for him because later in the game, he gave up, I think, 3 goals on 7 shots. And I went, that's just the way this is going to go tonight, where someone's going to make he needed to make a save point. But they are only in this game. Look at the saves that he's making. That first one there, gorgeous. I would say we throw around the word 10 bell with goaltenders quite a bit. I don't know if there were really any of those, but let's say maybe there were 6 9 bell saves.
A lot of bells.
Where it was there were a lot of 9-bellers in there where either the Devils were breaking in clean on the net, like this one, where it's just yep, you're getting right in front and you're getting a clear shot from the slot. Shot saves, breakaway chances, 2-on-1s. He did it all.
It's crazy because he just, you mentioned the 3 goals and 7 shots. He just can't do enough to let everyone go, oh, we're lucky to have him, or oh, he's fine, or whatever. It's still, you're right. People still get to go, yeah, but he gave up that soft one or whatever. He was spectacular tonight, as you mentioned, kind of kept them in it. That's the makings of a road win. I'm actually curious to see, one stat that I had from Sportlogic I did on our show today was Samsonov had 0 steals on the year. He's got tons of great goalie stats, but hadn't stolen a game. And it feels like that's a steal, a goalie steal for him.
Yeah, that's got to be a goalie steal. I'm going to say that I don't know how they quantify that statistic. That's also kind of an unfair one when you play on a team like the Leafs that statistically is favored to be
always
winning.
Outplays them.
Yeah, most of the games. I was talking about this on my show this afternoon. The one thing I think people take for granted with the Leafs is that they are expected to win essentially every night. Even the betting line tonight, and I'm just the betting line. It was only Devils minus 140. This is a team that's won 7 of their last 10. That just brought in Timo Meier.
Third in the NHL.
It's one of the best teams in hockey. A ton of points. They're at home. Toronto's coming from west to east without 2 of their centers. They're juggling their defensemen. They've got a top line guy who's been.
And they're plus 115.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's they're barely underdogs in this game. And so I know people react extremely harshly right now because the standard is really high. And this team has just had this bad habit of just letting the foot off the gas at the wrong times. But it's got to be a little exhausting for them at times too, going, God, we're better all the time. And then we have a couple of periods at the end of a West Coast trip and you guys are just hammering us for it. I'm glad I didn't get too low after the last game, but that's what this team is that they're deep enough, they're good enough. And if they can get some goaltending, that's why that one's a steal to me is that was a scheduled loss. And then their goaltender forced them into the game. Samsonov went, you guys aren't doing this shit tonight. I made 15 saves. Now go do a thing. And they started the second period. And I thought that's where the new Leafs kind of kicked in. You know who had the best shift to start it all? Noel Acciari. Like
Mhm.
the depth Leafs came out, they played with energy, and I
Pounded
thought
that
that
guy.
actually the Stars followed a bit. And I was going to ask you about this. Like, is that okay to you? Like, do you think that that's actually a formula that you can have where they have gone out and got these more competitive, as Kyle Dubas says, guys down the lineup that might actually be able to inspire some of the top guys and give them a little bit of a boost with that kind of play?
It's almost like there's been a learning curve here for the top guys in watching the heavier body check, feisty type guys. I think the Shen hit the other game against Vancouver, that
Mm,
takes the temperature up of the game. Like it doubles the temperature of a
so
normal
much.
Leafs game. But Vancouver was much more ready to play that. Like the other Leafs players were like, oh, I guess that guy on our team hit a guy. They didn't realize that that might make Vancouver mad and that the pace may quicken. And all of a sudden it was a really physical game. I didn't think that the Leafs answered very well in that regard. Tonight, they did come along a little bit more like, oh, we're hitting. He's a part of our team. Like, that's getting behind the snowball effect of that is a learning curve for them. So yeah, he made a really nice play there. McCabe made a great stop at the end of the game. Lafferty, I thought was really good. So you could see some of the new guys finding their footing a bit in that game.
Yeah, I really like Lafferty. I tweeted this,
Yeah.
but like he's got that extra gear he can hit with the skating that
Mhm.
it's amazing because the way the league is now, everyone has to be a terrific skater. That when you see someone that has that little tiny extra,
Yeah.
uh, that he is just really noticeable. Yeah, I want
Hold
to
on.
do your Bourne's breakdown. I think Sis
Yeah.
rolled this a little early, but
Yeah.
let's
We're
start
good
this
here.
again, Dave. Roll that back to the beginning.
So this is the one here. Hold on. This is the one here. I just wanted to show that little part right there where he's super comfortable hanging on to the puck and taking contact.
Mhm.
Like, I've noticed that just some people who aren't as comfortable with physical play, they want to move it, they want to get rid of it. And he just seems really comfortable taking the body and knowing it's not going to knock him off the puck. And I noticed that on a couple of breakouts tonight where, we question him right here, just holding the guy off, hanging on to it, making the right play. And we
Mhm.
question on our show, him playing center and obviously that high up in the lineup. And then do we have the Yarncroc goal as well? Coming out of the D zone, watch Lafferty here. He gets below the hash mark, supports the center, skates onto a chip, and his speed drives the Devils D back. And that gives all the room there for Nylander. That's why Nylander has so much time to make a play. Its speed puts the D on their heels and makes them turn. And I thought, that's one of those things that Lafferty can do. You don't want him on the second line. But it is, he seems comfortable coming out of his own end, hanging onto the puck, and then driving the D back. I thought that was a great example of what he can do for the Leafs, even if he's not going to be a star. If he does that in 2 games in the playoffs, you'd love him for it.
Yeah, I think that's a really good breakdown. And yeah, obviously, I'm glad that you decided to make that one the one because yeah, Nylander makes a nice pass, and then you've got Yarncroc on the doorstep, who was dangerous like shortly before that, right? Like rung one off the
Right.
bar, and good for him that he ends up getting a tap in because I feel like anytime Yarncroc has to raise the puck, it's either going 10 feet over the net or it's going off the bar. Like that is a goal for him. Like he
Yeah,
is one of those two
100%.
guys. But yeah, I don't think I think what you nailed there outside the speed is that he's not afraid of contact or afraid or and knows how to use his size. Like he's not a
Yeah.
giant, but he's one of those guys where the first time I watched him play with Chicago against the Leafs this year, and come on, I'm not watching a lot of Blackhawks games, okay? So it's not like I had a ton of Sam Lafferty thoughts ahead of this game. Um, I Googled his size
Mm.
because I thought he's really big. And then I went, I think he's only 6'1". And I went, that's kind of shocking to me. You always want to have the guy that feels bigger than he is
Yeah.
rather
Yeah.
than the guy he's sort of replaced who never felt his size. Anyway, I'm not going to
So
turn this
funny.
into a thing, but it just, I think it's a really good compliment if someone thinks you're bigger than you are. And I
Yeah.
definitely thought that was Sam Lafferty.
Yeah, and I thought the first couple games I told Sam like he had panic hands and it just seemed when he got the puck he was like
Mhm.
like and everything he seemed much more comfortable in tonight's game. You mentioned Achari made a couple good plays.
Yeah.
He was hit and miss for me, but again, these guys are going to take time. There are 2 bright spots from these injuries to O'Reilly and Tavares. One of them being that these guys are going to get the chance to show what they can do with real players in more minutes. I actually like this as a chance for the Leafs to figure out what they have, because what O'Reilly is, and frankly, if you let the rest of his body rest, not the worst thing. The other thing is, it does kind of guarantee that you have O'Reilly in playoffs, the timing of it. Rather than some injury that can come with 10 games left or 7 games left or 5 games left, you'll get him back with a few games left. Like, there's a really good chance they're going to have O'Reilly. So it's a weird way to look at liking an injury, but I think it helps them in a couple ways.
So I spoke to a couple of doctors about it, and 4 weeks is 4 weeks is for that injury, even for a professional hockey player, is kind of pushing it. Like, the rate of re-injury for that is actually pretty high. And if we're talking about hockey, where it's like, you don't think Kucherov in a 7-game series is going to test that hand? Like, come on, he's gonna. Kucherov is in game 1. The first time Ryan O'Reilly annoys him on a shift, he's going to give that hand just a little, snake bite, little test. Anyway, I think that you're right. They probably have the luxury of waiting on that one. My only thing is, I would love to find out who the ideal guys are to play with O'Reilly, because to me, he's going to be the 3C. I guess the positive spin is that they're going to be a checking line, and you already know who your best checking forwards are. And so putting him with, like, having Camp be on the wing, and then, I don't know, some shifts let Camp take some D-zone draws if you need them. Trying him out with Achari, trying him out with Lafferty, I think it's probably going to be pretty easy. I do wish, though, that they could just have like the luxury of, like, load management, where they say, we're going to let you have a couple of these games. We're going to take a couple of these games off. But if I'm projecting this, my guess is that they maybe get him back for 3 games. Like, that would be, to me, the most optimistic outcome for how many games you're going to get with Ryan O'Reilly. The Tavares thing is totally fine. It feels like they're already doing load management by letting him play the wing, giving him vacation time with O'Reilly. And now they're just, he even said it today, he feels fine. He said he didn't feel foggy. That was just a little tip of the cap from, I think, the coach.
Yeah, I could see that. I broke my thumb in a playoff series once, and I mentioned it in our show today too, but like, it sort of depends how much risk you want to take. Because, I continued to play, I switched to a less vibrating stick, this old aluminum thing, and had a splint on. And like, does O'Reilly want to protect himself for his next contract, or, how all in is he with this group?
Oh,
I know anything about, and if I know anything about O'Reilly and the competitor he is, and what, being a Canadian boy, he's going to be there. You're going to see him in the postseason. So just hopefully he can use the hand.
Couple of other quick things from this game. Okay, just because you mentioned McCabe and the new guys, do you think it's like, are you seeing anything between McCabe and Brody that is making you believe that they have to stick together?
No, I don't. I think they've been good. Like, I've liked McCabe more every game. I noticed him like 3 or 4 times, and it was for like a couple of hits and a good pass. Like, that's great. I'm very content with that. But I think Brody is everyone's comfort goat. He calms everyone down and makes them feel safe and whatever. And now McCabe's been here 3 or 4 games. I would not be shocked if they went, okay, you're good. You know what we're doing in systems. Feel comfortable.
So that's what you think it is. It's looking for a shutdown pair with the 2 guys.
Riley. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Because that I've just had the same thought of, are you doing what you did with Ryan O'Reilly by putting him in the top 6 and letting him get acclimated? Or are you trying to establish this as a shutdown pair? Because you and I used to talk about how you had fine pieces, but they didn't really fit together. And I'm back to that feeling with the Leafs every single night.
Me too. But you know what it is? It's Riley.
I know
he is a circle or he's a square. He is not a puzzle piece.
Funny. Thanks for never watching this show or my podcast. You were like, oh my God, do you know what I think it is? The thing that I have to actively work on not making a hobby horse every single show, because outside of Brody, like Morgan Riley, that's the only guy he fits with, is the one guy who makes everybody on the team better. And there were some numbers I saw, like some like possession numbers that got put out about how this is overstated with Morgan Riley. And I was like, this is where you absolutely do need the eye test. And you need to take, again, a grain of salt that the Toronto Maple Leafs are a very good hockey team, and that pretty much all the time they're going to have most of their team dominate the shot share because of the type of talent that they have on their team. And that Morgan Riley's is still kind of a small sample size. Anyways, you're dead right. Like, there's just, it still does not feel like they have a guy to put with Morgan Riley. And that's what I was going to ask you next is like, what did you think of Lilligren tonight? Because he got put in the doghouse, and then Keefe kind of tried to backtrack that and go like, hey, no, he's just young. And so we wanted to take some mileage off of him. Leaf Nation was up in arms about him hitting the press box. I kind of understood it based on that explanation.
It made sense.
Yeah.
And also Hall had just been scratched, and
Justin Hall today. We're talking about Justin Hall today.
Okay.
He was excellent.
Yes. But Lilligren, I liked him, and I had that feeling watching him where I'm like, he needs to be in. Like, I like the Leafs have done a great job with him and Sandin in the past when they were, a pair in making the right play, getting the puck out of their end, doing the right things. And he's not perfect. He, succumbs to the odd forecheck. Like all defensemen, he's not perfect, but he generally does the right thing with the puck. He's talented, thinks it really well. I enjoyed seeing him out there tonight, and it made me think, I don't know how I'd make their 6 now. Now, if I feel like Lilligren has to be in, I'm in real trouble because he was the guy who's kind of the first one to come out.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise,
I think he's back with Giordano, and I think that you're kind of accepting that it's going to be a lot like last year's postseason. Just to me, if things aren't working out and they feel like they need more snarl and more bite, it's going to end up being Luke Schenn coming in for Justin Hall rather than Lilligren this year. I just think that he's too good, and the thing I like about him is like he just does everything well.
Yeah,
there's no characteristic.
Well, he can finish it. Yeah,
there's not one characteristic about him where I go like, that's what makes you special. Like that is why. Ooh, like that's your thing. It's just all of it he does good, and it just feels like he has become more of a man this last year when it comes to his
for
play on
sure.
the
He's
boards.
fuller.
Yeah, and that has been the big leap for me where I go, that's why you're not going to come out. Is again tonight, it just never really feels like he gets manhandled. The way that sometimes he used to when the puck would go into the corners. Okay, let's keep it rolling with just like the guys and individual assessments. Do you want to go with a positive guy or I'm going to go with Justin Hall first because I have a different way to frame the bunting conversation.
Okay.
The Justin Hall pass on the game time goal was nice.
Yes.
You forget that guy was a second round pick and that, hey, again, a hobby horse of mine is defending Justin Hall. I think he's unbelievably underappreciated by the fan base. I think I'll bring this up again and again and again. There are so many people that think that Connor Timmins is a better defenseman than he is. And it's just like, I know. And it's so funny because it's one of those things where every time I bring it up with anybody who's a hockey person in like media, former player, whatever, they're like, that's not a conversation. And then the internet's like, how dare you even think Justin Hall is better than Connor Timmins? Sheldon Keefe's off his rocker playing him. Anyway, I just thought a solid game for him tonight. Like he was on the ice for one of the goals where it was, he could have, again, maybe won some. I was going to ask you who was at fault when I think the Devils get their third goal. Dave, do you have that?
It's a tipped in puck by Holla.
Well, no, the one where they just get behind the D and it's just like there's like nobody in front of the net. So it's like, I think it's them on the ice.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So Chari's there at the end of a shift, if I remember. He's really tired. He just had a breakaway or a 2-on-1. Maybe I had the wrong goal in my head. That's not the one. Earlier play. No. But that's... No. So Hall is on the ice for that one, though.
Yeah. That one was just a tough tip where it's like, you get... I don't hate that one as much.
Yeah.
It was, I think this one.
This is the one Achari's laboring to get back. He chased the puck. He can't win the battle. And I think he gets beat back to the net by his guy.
This is it, because it's like guy gets behind, and just gets a wide open look at the cage and just is like, this is the Palat goal.
Yeah.
You want to see that again? You think that's just Achari?
So I would like to see the D again because I didn't.
Like
it's
Hall
a pretty aggressive take from Hall
there,
hey? Yeah. Like Hall doesn't need to go out as aggressively. They actually have another guy in front who can do that, and he can sag back on Palat.
Yeah. So there it is. That's the Justin Hall brain fart that people get so mad about. It's like he just ends up leaving his spot, being a little too aggressive, stretches himself out, but again, makes up for it with the pass later in the game. Okay, so the last one from you, because I assume we have these highlights now. Who do you think that goal, like who do you think's goal was bigger for them in terms of confidence tonight? Bunting's, who his coach described him having a mental block and then put him down in the fourth line, or Austin Matthews, who, yeah, had a pretty down road trip, one really good game, but the rest of it pretty unnoticeable, got spanked by the best player on earth, and rips just a classic Austin Matthews goal, and on the power play, like one where he blows by the goaltender. You noted that he seemed to have a little heart on his glove, maybe a little sweetie pie that he's
I put that on Twitter, and I'm sure I'm getting killed for it, but yeah, he had the little send a signal to the lady type while you're on camera. I like it. Nicely done.
That wouldn't shock me if that was literally for Bieber.
So true.
That was for the Biebs, and he was like, "Biebs, this one's next for you. Like, we're doing it because your next song is called Love Something or Heart Something, and that this is gonna go in like his music video."
Yeah, can we let we can't let that play go without commenting on it, by the way. The pass by David Kampf, was that the most blackout, unbelievable pass?
Unreal.
I mean, for Bunting, it's like he's been playing with Mitch Marner all year, then all of a sudden Kampf turns into Marner.
Yeah, that's what we've got up on the screen right now for the YouTube audience is the Matthews game winner. His reaction to that goal, it stirred a little something in me. I went, he was like, that felt like old Matthews a little bit there, where he was like, guys, I still really love scoring goals. I really feel good at doing this part of my job more than anything. I'm not a defensive forward. I'm a goal scorer. I ripped that one. I got it clean. Everybody's beautiful on the play, right? Like, everybody's involved.
Bunting's leave is unbelievable there.
Yeah, Bunting leaving it is probably a nicer play than the actual goal he scores. But yeah, Matthews just rips it, and then he gives a classic Matthews reaction. I think that I'm hoping anyways, that's a big moment for him heading into a game that they don't play again until Saturday, and it's against Edmonton, and he got his pants pulled down by Connor McDavid, who scored 2 goals. I'm hoping that just stirs a little something in him. I'm not sure about Bunting's night. Like, the goal probably felt good, but I thought that he was kind of chasing it tonight, and I didn't really notice him. And I thought actually before that play on the power play, he was bad on the power plays.
Yeah. It's funny, hey, like, you get a goal or an assist and people go, what a night. And it's like, well, if you had 8 bad shifts and then you do that, is it a good night? Yeah, I didn't think he was spectacular either. But regarding Matthews, for me, it's him. It's more important to him. It's a very Matthews goal, and it's a big one, right? Like, you don't get many buzzer beaters in the NHL. It's pretty much as close as it gets. So a big one for him. But what I thought of immediately was the one-timer about 5 minutes earlier or 10 minutes earlier that Vanacek catches. Matthews catches it flush, and he's quick. He makes a really great play to turn on the puck. And I was like, God, he looks healthy. Like, he looks like all parts are firing. He's working, so good to see him get one. And, it's that quick twitch for me that hasn't been there. Things just kind of look long and flowy. Seeing that bit of quickness out of him. I liked it tonight.
I think that the top guys deserve a ton of credit for eventually finding their game, playing heavy minutes, and then coming through with some big spots. Again, like Marner has the shorthanded goal, which is just a beauty where, his stick handling right now is on a completely other level. That's the way that the goalie's expecting that too. Like, this guy's going to make a ton of moves. He's not going to blow one by me. And still Marner's able to get in that tight and still make the one last move to tuck it in. And I went, damn, that's impressive. That's like really nice. And then Matthews with like a classic blow by goal. And then, David Kampf, who you said it, he had the Kampf gets play of the game, right? Like, that's.
Oh yeah, he passes that through like 3 devils.
Yeah.
By the way, I think it's Jack Hughes who watches it pass by under his nose. It's unbelievable, that play.
Yeah. No, he definitely gets play of the game. I think that I would do it like player of the game. Still, to me, being a goalie sympathizer is Samsonov, because again, without him, nothing is possible. After that, I think I'm giving it to Kampf just for that play. Like, I was so blown away that he made that play, and I went, what just happened? What did I see?
I will be honest, I saw the way it was developing. Like, as they came across there, it felt like a quick 2-on-1. And then maybe he was just slow to realize it had devolved into like a 1-on-4, but he still made the play. He still
did it. He still did the damn thing. All right, I'm just going to check my notes to see if there's anything else here. Is there anything else?
I just have one thing. Kerfoot can't score in a soccer net. I mean, I love the way he's skating the last few games. Here's old Kerfy. Like, we're was it 30 seconds into the game, drop all by yourself, like get it off, make a play, have some poise. Just, not there. Any chance he gets, he's looking up at the rafters. He just seems very snake bit, very frustrated. I like him the most of anyone on my radio show. I can tell you that much, but he just can't put the puck in the net.
What I feel bad for is he's actually been playing great lately.
Great.
Like
they moved him up. His coach even said as much. Likes him.
He has been phenomenal. He just cannot score.
No.
And so you feel for the guy because in a lot of ways you go, you deserve a little bit more ice time. And then you remember, hey, we're going to need a goal.
Yeah, that's the old thing where, scoring is the hardest thing to do in the game, and he can't do it. And it ain't coming, by the way.
It's funny, though. You know who he reminds me a little bit of in terms of just being snake bit was Zach Hyman at the very beginning of his Leafs career, where
I love that.
He had hands of stone and there was so many opportunities because he was playing in the top six and everyone was like, Babcock, what are you doing? This guy is blowing these opportunities. And even if he's scoring 15 goals, any other human could be out here getting 30 of them. And I feel like with Kerfoot, he can't even hit the 15. There is no part of me that enjoys watching the offensive part of his game. It's everything else is fine and good. And then just you're missing the most important part.
But you're right about the same point there. It's was it Grabner or Hagelin? One of the two got 6,000 breakaways a game. I think it was Grabner.
Yeah, it was Grabner before. Yeah, the year of the tank.
Right. And so he would score X amount of goals and people would say, anyone else would bury X amount, but no one else can create that many chances.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the thing with Kerfoot is that he is a part of a lot of opportunities. Will they go in at the right times? Haven't yet.
God, this has just been all their guys though, because that was Mikheyev too. God, he creates so many of them, but put one in.
Yeah. And then he put a couple in and someone gave him 20 million.
Oh my God. Yeah, he did that guy got the bag. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for me. I will say that, there was one goal where pretty sloppy by the top line and Zach Aston Reese, just in terms of all getting back. Zach Aston Reese kind of goes into the, he can basically play a puck that Vanacek is handling. He thought
it was going to be icing, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, but he doesn't really go in and he kind of gets stuck halfway in the middle. And all I could think was, you're going to get this grace period because you don't have Ryan O'Reilly pushing you and you don't have anybody in behind you. But yeah, you are more of a bubble guy than I thought. Also, this is my last note. I never noticed Alex Steeves except for one time in the first period. He made a really nice play clearing a puck from in front of the net. He made a good defensive play. It was smart. He collected it.
So
he got it out.
He rolled over the bar you laid on the ground for him today.
Yeah, I just there was not one other time where I went, there he is. I had no feel for him whatsoever tonight.
It is crazy though, just looking at it today, they do have 2 immediate injuries, so that's pretty significant. But I was yeah, they traded Joey Anderson away. Bobby McMahon's hurt. All of a sudden you're we're not going to see Steeves in playoffs, right? They need 3 injuries before he gets in, and here he is.
I literally need to see Steeves' minutes because there's no way that he played more than 5-6.
I honestly, he hasn't shown me a thing so far.
He played 6 minutes. He played 6 minutes and he was a -1. So yeah, that I think that they're gonna find a way to not play him. That's my guess.
If it comes down to Steeves or 11-7, you got 7.
I think that you're going back to 11-7 with Sheldon Keefe. All right, Justin Bourne. Again, follow you on Twitter and Instagram at JT Bourne. You can follow me at JD Bunkis. Subscribe to this podcast on iTunes. Or on Spotify. All you got to do is hit the follow button. It seems pretty simple enough. You can leave 5 stars. That really helps us out. And Saturday night, we're all off because we're going to a comedy show.
It's literally the 3 of us.
Yeah, we're all going to see comedy. So the Oilers game is going to be Justin Cuthbert. But make sure, again, Saturday nights are not live. It'll be taped. It'll be up shortly after. And then, back in the regular rotation, heading into a crazy busy stretch for the Leafs where it's they just decided, you know what, get to mid-March and we'll play every night.
Every night until June, hopefully.
I don't understand I got to say quickly on that. it drives me crazy that right before the playoffs, the Leafs have like 4-6 twice in a row where they have like back-to-backs on Fridays and Saturdays, and then they get into April. It's like, what
and
are
they
we
play
doing
like
here?
Boston, Florida, Tampa, New York. Like it's a tough
Gauntlet.
sled.
It's a gauntlet. No, tonight was an important win for them. Anyway, good steal for the Leafs. For JD Bunkis and Justin Bourne, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And go buy Bourne's book. All right? Wherever.
Down and back. Yeah.
Yes, that's right. I almost forgot to plug your book. Watch our shows, podcast, JD Bunkis podcast and Real Kipper and Bourne, and buy Bourne's book. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.